it's just like this comparison is strange. Like comparing men or trying to create some sort of link that men who are attracted to younger women, again, keyword women, that it's somehow P-word, pedophilia. Hold on. That would be like me saying that women who want to date tall men are incestophiles because they have daddy issues, because they want to look up to a guy because it reminds them of their dad. Like you have some weird incestuous fetishization to date taller men because they remind you of your father.
Going on with that second statement, I'm going to ignore the hell out of that.
That's how fucking crazy you sound.
Based off your first statement, though, you keep saying young women. I'm trying to emphasize I am talking about 18 to 20 years old. I swear to God, I am.
That is young women.
I know it's young women, but you keep saying like younger women. Like I'm saying like 25 and below, or like 30 and below. Like I mean that strict gap of 18, 19, and 20.
I'm happy to talk about that gap.
I think 30-year-olds and plus should just wait until they are don't have teen in their name anymore.
I'm 33.
Yes.
You would take Coral if I dated a 19-year-old.
I would look at it like, damn, like you're a bum if you have that much in common with a 19-year-old. Yeah.
I mean,
or that 19-year-old. I've been like, damn, she must either be a very successful 19-year-old or he must be a very bummy 33-year-old. Because what do you guys have in common to be dating? It's a
W to be dating a fucking 20-year-old baddie.
See, that's the problem with it. You guys see it as a trophy, as a reward. Like that's weird.
But I'm the prize for men, though.
Oh, I agree with that. Oh, I agree with that for sure. But it's like, I don't know. I don't say like, oh yeah, I just scored a 56-year-old man. I just scored a 35-year-old man. Yeah, like I just don't. I would never do that.
Let me ask you this. So you're 23, correct, or 22?
23, basically.
Well, you're 22.
23.
Basically 23.
I'm in a couple weeks, bro.
Okay, so you're 22 though.
Yes.
Okay, I'm 33. You're 22.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it strange of me if I found you physically attractive.
I'm 22 years old now. I never said that there was nothing wrong with.
But that's only 2 years older than 20. That's not a huge difference.
I honestly look very, very different than I did at 20 years old. Very. And I'm not saying it in a sexual desiring way too. I'm saying it in the point of like dating and on. It's like here, let me back up. Let me retract. One of your biggest points, or at least Chase's biggest points the other time, was that men like younger women for fertility reasons.
Yes.
Right? So that means that's saying that you are going to be obviously dating them. I would hope you're not just meeting a random 19-year-old, fucking them and getting them pregnant, right? So you're going to be in a relationship with them, getting married, and then having kids with them. I do see it kind of weird that somebody 30 plus is having enough in common with, which I said, there's obviously situational where there is some women who are much older for themselves and some men who aren't. But yeah, and I would say the man is either a bum or something. Like, how can you get along so well with somebody who just graduated high school when you graduated over a decade and a half ago? Like, you should be in a different place of your life.
I understand your point exactly. Like, I respect your opinion and all, but again, people can meet at the workplace. People can meet all over the world, and you might not even know their age, and then get with them, and now people are looking at you like you're a fucking perv or a weirdo, but you didn't even know her age when you first met her. And a lot of these young girls, they look a little bit older. I see nothing wrong with the guy dating a girl who's younger. There's no problem with it. And guys like anime, a lot of younger girls like anime, video games. No, I'm being serious. Older women, I'm 28, and I've met women my age who don't like anime. They don't like video games. Like anime it's boring to them. So of course a guy's gonna talk to a 22-year-old who's into that because she's into that. Why would he talk to a 30-year-old or somebody older who's literally bagging on everything that he does? Older women, not to be rude, but a lot of them bag on men and bag on their preferences. And that's why they're intolerable. They're like so hard to be around. They have so much trauma. They don't heal from their stuff. And trust me, guys, I'm studying to be a therapist, so I talk to a lot of people. So this is not just me talking out of my mouth. I actually know this.
Can I ask you a question? So I'm 33. I'm 33. Can you articulate what advantages are there to dating a woman who is 31 versus 21? For me.
It's not a thing about advantages. It's just I would struggle unless I'm saying, yes, there's exceptional things, but I would just struggle to see what you have in common with somebody who just graduated high school a few months ago when you've graduated a decade and a half ago. I would just... Yes, you might have some things in common. You might have some things in common for sure. Like you might have some things in common.
The sex is in common.
Oh my God.
I have sex in common with women.
Like your only.
I think you could have a lot more in common than just that.
I
think there's a lot of things.
That's why I'm saying there's exceptional things, but for the most part, most 18-year-old girls I know are not in the same place in their life as the average 30-plus-year-old man. Okay,
let me ask you a question.
On average, I'm saying.
But what do men and women have in common in general? Like, Are you talking music and shit? Because
No, I'm not saying.
I'm
I'm not even saying
talking
just
like-
music. I'm just saying like this girl is going to cheer practice while he should be hopefully having maybe a home and like paying bills and shit while she's having a bow in her hair and doing the splits. Like that's two very different things.
Yo, Carson, can you pull up a photo? I want to pull this up really quick. It's the Leonardo DiCaprio photo.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's pull this up.
I do have a dog and live alone. Actually, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so, and I'll tell you when to switch it, Carson. Not yet though. This is Leonardo DiCaprio. They broke up, but Camila or some shit.
Probably 'cause I had nothing
That was
to do with
his girlfriend for a couple years. I think he was in his 40s. She was in her early 20s. So this is what the world sees. This is what the world sees. And the next photo is what Kiara? Did I say it right? Kira?
Call me Kiko, please.
Kika. Okay. This is what you see. When you see this is what you see. Pull up the next one. Control tab over.
Okay, here we go.
This is what you see.
Damn near. That's how you're making it seem, though. I love Leonardo DiCaprio.
Like,
I said
do you
she's
see
a
the
little
difference?
Baby, yeah.
But do you see the difference? Like, it's
Yeah, because that's a 4-year-old. Like, what do you? Can we please
Oh.
agree to fucking disagree? Because
I don't think
it's
she's
not.
gonna change her point.
I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. There's
that's-
literally nothing you could say to me that
I'm
I'm,
not-
going
I'm
to
not-
say you're right. Other things, sure, I'll be like, you know what? Maybe fuck. Like, you got a point. This,
But,
I'm
okay,
dying
so,
on this hill.
So
I'm
I ask
dying on it.
again, what advantages are there to dating a woman who is 31 versus 21?
That she doesn't have a locker in a high school hallway. That hopefully she's not living in her
Ju-
parents'
just-
house
just
anymore.
put her age at 20.
Maybe that her parents are
What
tracking her
21-year-old
location.
has a locker and lives with their
I have a
parents?
question.
Once again, I'm not talking about 21-year-olds. I'm talking
You said
about
18 to
18-year-olds.
20.
I thought
Well,
he was.
you
Yeah.
He
keep-
just
yo, you're
asked
shifting
you though the
you're
difference
shifting the
between.
goalposts.
She said 21. Did she not?
But okay, no, but my question
I never
was,
said anything about
what
21.
advantages are there to dating a woman who is 31 versus 21?
I
Yeah,
just
that's
listed
it.
them.
No 21-year-old
I'm
has a
thinking you'll
locker
be in
in
a
high
similar,
school.
more similar place in life. I'm not saying
A
you listen
woman
to the
who
same
is
music,
30?
you listen to the same shit.
A woman who is 30, she might have a more developed career. She
Don't
might
care.
be
Do not care at all. But
Guys
go-
don't care
continue.
about careers.
And
when you're building a family, a man wouldn't care to build with. Okay,
Some men, depending on their earning capability, but my goal is to be retired at 40
Okay.
and I'll be able to provide for everything. And so
Okay.
Let's go,
I
Brian.
don't,
Good
well,
stuff.
that's,
I think that a man and a woman who are closer in age, they would just, like Kiara said, they have more in common.
like what do they have in common?
A woman, I can say for surely that I'm 22 and I've made really poor decisions when I was 20 and 21 that I would not make today, that I would not.
Why does that mean that you wouldn't be able to date someone that was 30?
I'm sorry, this is
Because-
actually crazy to me. What's your name again?
Day.
Okay,
Because I feel
so
like
I'm 21. So are you had this argument earlier about like the prefrontal cortex thing, and I guess your past self like 12 months ago is like way different than like decisions you would make now. So are you telling me like right now, I as a 21-year-old do not have the like enough mental capacity to make proper decisions about my body in relationships?
No, I'm saying that everybody who does not have a developed prefrontal cortex is probably not making the best decisions that they can for themselves. Because the prefrontal cortex, that's a part of the brain
So
that deals with decision making.
Yeah, I get that. So should we move the age of consent to 25 when everyone has a fully developed prefrontal cortex?
before
If
you
you're
go on
gonna
that
if you're gonna
tangent.
say that, I feel like that like you have to say that. Otherwise,
I don't.
well then don't say that
she's
people
saying
under
it's
25
because
like
the example we're giving is somebody, no matter the gender, forget the gender, somebody dating someone for one person who's under that time frame of your prefrontal cortex, whatever fucking getting developed, versus somebody who's already past that time where their prefrontal cortex is already developed. So it may be easier for them to, like we said before, either manipulate or girls not to realize what's going on. They could do things they wouldn't usually do.
I
Like
feel
maybe
that-
sign a lease with this man and be stuck with him forever. Or maybe they would take abuse that they wouldn't usually take if they were older. Like there's a lot of
I feel like
it's very
when
naive
women-
to act like this doesn't happen. And you guys are women, so this is like kind of crazy.
I feel like when
that you guys
women
don't think
reach
this. Like,
a
no.
less vulnerable age, they can make better decisions. They can be like, oh, this guy,
Men too.
maybe this guy genuinely does enjoy who I am as a person and likes being with me. I feel like maybe you are not that developed or that knowledgeable at a younger age to decipher whether a man wants you for you or your body or for like what you do for him, you know?
Yeah, so should then younger women or men not be, are we saying that like it's better that they not have relationships if they're not
We're saying they
able
have
to make good
relationships with
relationship
people in the
decisions?
same developed cortex of them. So
have
people
a
with
question.
developed cortexes have relationships with people with developed cortexes, and people with undeveloped cortexes have relationships with people with undeveloped cortexes. Does that make sense?
So I have a question.
That sounds kind of stupid to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I have a question.
I mean, a guy who's 27 could have a developed cortex, and I wouldn't. He's only 5 years older than me. So you're saying I shouldn't be with him?
Oh,
How old are you?
Damiana
22.
with the.
I don't.
That's why I'm
I don't
just
think that
curious,
age
like-
gap is too far out.
No.
because
It's like when we say a point,
Interesting.
there could be no exceptions, but then when you guys say a point, it's like, well, obviously we mean an exception of this. Well, obviously. an
Well,
exception of
I'm
this.
just trying to
But we
tease.
can't
It's
do
just
it
a
on the
crazy
same
thing to
time.
say
just
that people who
curious.
are
No, you're
like
good, you're good. I'm
like
not
the
really talking
21-year-olds
about
like my like. But you're basically just saying like I don't have the mental capacity to.
I'm
I'm
not
not
saying
saying
one
that.
statement and like
You
let
know
it
what I'm
go for the
saying,
whole
Tara?
podcast
What I'm
sometimes.
saying, Tara, is that you may not have enough life experience or development to make the best decisions possible.
She's only
That's
a
all
year
I'm
younger
saying.
than us, though. Like,
Yeah, and I'm saying I don't either. I don't.
I feel like that's
Wait.
not a great argument because even the girl last time that was on here, she was like 30 something, didn't make the best decisions. So that doesn't always
Oh,
go for
yeah.
every. Yeah. So when she keeps saying this young
Oh.
shit, like it has nothing to do with that. It's how
Yeah,
you were
and that's-
raised, who taught you, what your upbringing was. It has nothing to do with that. Yes,
Oh.
I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't go for everybody. And with all these young entrepreneur women,
Of course there's
who are-
exceptions
who are
with
lit-
everything.
You're gonna tell me
There's
that a girl
exceptions
who's
with
doing OF at
everything.
18 years old, she's literally flicking her being online, lives on her own, doing her own thing, can make her own
Did
decisions.
we not
now?
say there's no
All of a
exceptions?
sudden-
Did we
all
not
of a
say there's
sudden-
no
Okay, I
exceptions?
didn't say- I didn't say she can-
All of a sudden,
Okay.
did we not
Okay,
start
girl,
those
how old are
exceptions?
She
you?
can definitely.
Fucking younger than you.
Yeah, I could
guys,
tell.
Hold on, guys. One mic at a time. One mic.
Papa
One,
Jane
guys,
in your
guys, guys,
head.
guys.
Psycho.
Okay, she can definitely make decisions.
guys,
That's
guys.
not what I
One mic.
said.
You don't hear your tone
That's
when
not
you're
what I
speaking to me, you're
said.
insane. If you don't
Stop,
talk
stop,
to me in a
stop.
polite
I'm
manner.
talking.
You're
You're
no,
like
your
yelling.
tone of voice is very rude.
You're probably,
actually.
you're
I
probably
want-
just offended.
No,
Everyone,
I'm not.
can we
Because
just-
none of your points have affected me because they've all been
can we
stupid
just-
as fuck. So I
Why
really
you're
don't agree with
screaming
them.
and
If anything, Curtis,
insulting?
I've gotten some of yours, and honestly, sometimes when you say, it,
What?
I'm like, maybe I get it. But a lot of it just sounds like pick me, choose me, love me. Like, you think I'm Andrew Tate?
We can't have the opposite fucking
Like,
opinion of
no, you
somebody
can.
without being a pick me.
No,
think I'm
I
a
never
pick
said
me?
that. I never said that. But the ones that you're like broadcasting are just very pick me-ish.
Well,
like,
can I be honest with you? You're literally just arguing for no reason, insulting me. I haven't insulted you once. This is a debate, Mama. Take it
called me a
easy.
5-year-old. The last
It's a
sentence.
debate.
You just called me a
It's a
5-year-old.
debate.
I'm literally.
It's a debate. Calm down. And yes,
You were
I'm
the
Team
one-
Tate because you keep bagging on him. Team Tate.
Oh
You keep
my
saying
god,
that.
for the sex trafficker, yes, Team Tate.
Where's
the
your proof?
sex trafficker.
You got proof?
He posted it online
Where's your
himself
proof?
for a podcast.
He just got
Where's your proof?
arrested.
Yeah,
Where's your
like,
proof?
he's
He
in
just
jail.
got arrested.
Your man's in jail.
I need proof, not accusations.
I think they want me out, and I'm like totally ready.
Yes. Peace.
I'm totally ready to go.
Don't worry.
Nobody
we'll-
fucking asked you,
I'll-
though. That was
I'll-
crazy
Whoa,
part.
whoa, whoa! Bring this. Okay, let's.
I can't cuss all of a sudden. We've been cussing all podcasts. You act like now because I'm cussing, it's a fucking big ass deal.
Savenya, mamonissimo.
Like you literally talk about labia removal
Whoa.
surgery on here, and
Whoa.
I can't say fucking. Like, come on.
Hey, don't shame women with large labias. don't do it,
I would never.
Kiko. Don't do it.
I love all.
That's
labias.
my soft spot. Okay, wait. So I want to bring it back to you. You were saying something good. Oh, career. Okay, so an older woman brings her career.
Okay, no, that's not the only thing she brings to the table, though. I feel like an older woman is more intelligent. She's more developed. She's been through like more in life to where,
So baggage.
I mean, is baggage necessarily a bad thing?
Yeah,
I think everybody has baggage, though.
but
Every single person.
sure.
And that baggage doesn't only come from relationships, it can come from family trauma, it can come from other things. So
If you had to choose, well, I think it's a bit different though, because I feel like men's, oh God, I'm gonna get canceled for this. I feel like men's trauma tends to build them, and women's trauma breaks them. Oh God, I'm gonna get canceled.
Hot take.
That's a
yeah,
hot
that's
take.
definitely bold.
I don't think
Pride.
I like
I mean,
that
I
at
just
all.
say-
Can I make a comment to that? I feel like that's very
disagree.
bold
I
to
could be
say.
wrong. I could be wrong.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's very bold to
50-50.
say when men lead our suicide rates. So if they lead the
That's a
suicide
great
rates,
point.
like how can
Okay, I
they
lose.
technically Finally,
You
I did something
are
right.
thrown down.
I'll take the L. I don't know. Maybe I take the L on this one, but like, I just, to me, I don't see the benefit of dating. And here's the thing, right? I would say most of the women I date are around my age, like, because I don't think I'm of a high enough status. I don't think I earn enough. I don't think I'm physically attractive enough to attract like a 21-year-old baddie. Maybe in the future I gotta use like 5 pounds, you know. But most of the women I do date are within my age range. Actually, I dated a 45-year-old cutie, you know, recently. But that's another. Is that weird? She was 45, 33. What's up? Actually, I was 32 at the time. Is that? Did she?
Do I have to answer that question?
Did she prey on me, Kiko?
Do I have to answer that question?
She
seriously?
preyed on me, didn't she?
I didn't know you were.
I was
you
preyed
went in
upon.
a time machine and went back to the age of
I
below
feel like
21 during
just
that relationship.
because men like younger women, they do not have to go for exceptionally young women. Like 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. That's young. Are you telling me that's not young?
I'm
I
just
don't
saying
know.
it's kind of
Like-
in the same way that like you can keep edging out in terms of a guy's height. Oh, 5'11's good. 6 feet would be better. 6'1, 6'2. So it's like 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. You know? Because okay, and this would maybe tie into our body count discussion. The older you are, generally speaking, you're going to have a higher body count, and men prefer women with a low body count. Men value sexual purity in women, and sexual purity. I mean, virginity
Are
is
you
obviously crazy,
speaking-
but I'm talking low body count.
Are you
Oh.
saying you personally, or like all men prefer a woman
The
with a
va-
low body count?
Almost all men prefer low body count.
None of the men I've been with really.
None of the men.
preference, at least not they stated. Maybe they
Bro,
kept
you're
it really
dating
inside.
cucks then, bro.
It's just-
I've
I don't know
honestly
why there's
never
an
been asked
assumption.
my body count.
Yeah, either.
we like.
I don't know
figure it
why
out
there's an
in
assumption
other
though that
ways.
like there could be an
Figure it
18,
out.
there could be a 20-year-old girl who has 50 bodies and a 30-year-old woman who has
Sure.
one body. Like I don't understand why that's such a heavy correlation. It's so dependent on who that woman is. And honestly, I would like to argue a woman that gets along, a younger age woman who gets along very well with an older man, the life experiences she's had means that she's probably been doing things that are of more grown stature from a younger age, so she probably has more bodies than the average 18-year-old already does.
Okay, but here's the thing about the whole, well, yes, a 20-year-old could have 50 bodies and a 30-year-old could have 3, but the 20-year-old who has 50 let's say the 20-year-old who has 20 bodies, how much is she going to have at 30? That's the point.
But that's so dependent on the person. That girl could that one day get in a relationship and never have one body the rest of her life, or that one 30-year-old, the 30-year-old with 3 bodies could have been in relationships the whole time, get single, and now she's fucking the whole world at 35.
Well, the exception doesn't make the rule. The exception doesn't make the rule. Like as you start to age, you start accumulating more and more bodies.
Of course, as you age, yes, you get more bodies, but it's not a direct lineage line. Like, okay, she's 19, so she has 4 bodies. She's 23, she has 7 bodies. She's 26,
Sure.
it's so vastly different depending
Absolutely.
on woman to
Yes.
woman, even by look. So it's like that's why I feel like it's very hard to assume that, because it is so fucking different. It's so hard to look at somebody and
Sure.
actually know their body count.
I knew a 19-year-old girl who had 100 plus bodies.
Right.
I'm not exaggerating. I knew a girl who's 28. She was a virgin.
Right,
We had a
exactly.
girl on. Well,
Yeah.
she's that.
She was 26.
She was
and a
26.
virgin.
Lost her virginity. Then she
Went crazy, 30 bodies by the time she was 30. Swear to God.
is.
Perfect example.
And she was 30, had way more bodies than me. So I was like, oh shit.
perfect example. That's why I'm
And
like,
she looked pure and
I don't
innocent
like how
too,
this
remember?
argument is
She
just-
looked pure and innocent.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm sure you've gotten this before. It kind of just brought up at my work the other night. I didn't know before I got tattoos that tattoos were equate for women like you're a promiscuous woman, you're a slut, you're a whore, whatever. I never ever
It's also
heard
for
that.
trauma. Like it's considered, men want women who are pure and feminine, and when we're sitting here getting tattooed, we're self-mutilating ourselves. That doesn't show pure and femininity. So when they see us, they know we've been through too much trauma enough to deal and withstand this. You know how hard it is to sit through tattoos, especially big ones. A lot of women can't do that, so that's how they view that.
I
I
honestly
know, but
think about
I love that for myself, if anything, because then I'm going to attract the right man that I want. But I just, for what my point was, though, I never knew that, because they didn't really say trauma. A couple of them said, like, if anything, I think she's gone through hella shit because, like, she could handle the pain. But no, a lot of them are like, oh, no, like, she is a slave. She has, like, multiple tattoos. She's a whore. She's a slut. She's sleeping around. And I'm like, I've never, it's such a dated, like, I've never equated, maybe certain tattoos, like tramp stamps or something, like, but just tattoos in general, I've never... But like this chat, like they always say to me, like they just assume like I'm a whore, I'm a slut, I'm this for tattoos, whatever. And it's like, I don't know. What you're gonna say, Tara?
Well, oh, did you want to come in?
Nothing. Just I was like, I think about that a lot recently because it's like really popular. Like I don't think in this way it's like a correlate for like trauma, but like a lot of it's very popular like for even just like girls that you wouldn't necessarily be like the type to get tattoos, to get like, you know, really cutesy little tiny like heart ones or whatever, like all this stuff. But I like still don't think like it'll ever be something I do because like personally I feel like it's like a body purity thing. But
We do need to get caught up on the super chats, guys. So guys, get your super chats in. I will get them really quick. I just want to add one thing. So as far as like, and we'll move on as soon as I say it, but here's another example. Okay. So guys who like younger women, if you want to make P-word comparisons. Okay. Women who have a preference for men who don't have beards, they're P-words. Women who like guys who are clean shaven, sorry, y'all are P-words. I'm sorry. Kiko, do you have a preference for men who are clean shaven?
I don't have a preference either or.
I'm just saying.
If I did,
y'all
I do love a good old porn stash.
You want a guy
I
with
love a thick porn stash, baby.
there's some women who
That's
like
what I
guys
like.
clean shaven.
I've never been one of that women. And I actually,
Those women are P-words.
the only women I've ever heard say that were like usually like bisexual or in the closet lesbian women. To be honest, I rarely hear grown women say they prefer no facial hair. If anything, that's like a
I've heard
red
a
flag
lot.
for them.
Okay.
Like I have friends who won't date dudes without facial hair. If anything. Yeah, you're their type, Brian. Hit them up.
Look, every single, like, I want to say, of the past 3 or 4 girls I've dated, they've all been very open that they do not like the facial hair.
that's so weird.
I've never heard
I
that.
really
I
have.
prefer
No,
facial
yeah,
hair.
I was gonna say
I love a
prefer
hairy man.
facial
I
hair.
prefer it.
I've
Yo.
never heard this
Hairy
before.
chest and
Yeah.
all.
I
Love a
haven't heard many
mustache,
women
love
say
a
that.
beard, love hair on
Maybe
the
they don't like
chest.
ungroomed, like
The happy
ungroomed,
trail.
super like
That's
down
hard.
to here, like you have food in your shit. Like that's a different story. But like a beard, a mustache, a goatee, I would always prefer that. I think over none. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I think I would prefer facial hair.
Facts, I agree.
Actually, and on the
I
topic
would
of
feel like
the-
I'm dating a little boy.
I'd also like
Yeah.
to say that I don't care that the women that I see don't wax or shave down there.
Ooh. I need a trimming. I need a trimming.
You said it wrong.
I've had one.
I
too
feel
many
like if
pieces
you're
of
like
tea.
completely bald like there, it's like, I don't know, a little childlike.
I'm
Oh,
bald down there.
gosh.
If you prefer a woman like completely
like
bald,
waxed.
like you expect a grown woman to be completely bald down there on their
little
arms,
closer.
on their legs. If you expect a woman
Arms, I mean, that's whatever.
to be
but
bald on
down
their
there, it's
arms, on their
nice.
legs, on their vagina, everywhere, you expect a grown woman to be hairless. I'm sorry, you're not looking for a grown woman. You're looking for a child.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
It's
that's
just
extreme.
a preference,
Whoa.
honestly.
I
Some
was-
men don't
I
like
was-
hair.
I was
Yeah.
being kind of, I was being memeing with the women who prefer men with shaved beards are pedos, but you've gone full force with it. So, okay.
When, if a guy was like, no, I don't want to talk to you, you don't shave your arms or your vagina or your legs, like,
So are you
I would
saying
be
you
like,
have-
that's a little bit strange.
into the mic straight on?
I would think that's a little bit strange.
If a guy had a preference for a woman who shaved her legs, I mean, that's pretty standard.
No. If a guy is like, I don't like women who are hairy on their arms, hairy on their legs, if they have hair on their vagina, like, that
I
is
mean-
so,
I
like,
think, okay.
I mean,
Let me
that's
try
a
to help her.
stretch,
I think she's not saying like, 'cause I don't fully agree with that, but I think what she's trying to say is not that it's their preference, but it's like it's an end all be all. Like
Yes.
if you didn't shave your legs that day or whatever, he's like, I'm not even gonna fucking lady. Like you're a
Yes.
nasty
Has a guy told
hairy-
you that before?
I've in my life, I've met men who are like, oh my God, your arms are so hairy, or like have made those comments. And it's,
Can you?
Yeah.
Do you
Do I
want to
care?
show the camera?
Like, her hair is
That's
white.
like
She's
that's
Hispanic, it's like
pretty.
normal.
I mean,
Listen,
that's
guys.
not that's
And
not bad. Like
I don't think so. But
does
some
look
men
bad.
are weird, and they're like,
Arm
I don't
hair-
like hairy arms, hairy legs, or a
Yeah.
hairy vagina.
I think like I get it. Having a preference is totally fine. I prefer more groomed than not for sure. But I think it's just more of a when it's like with some men it does become like a very big deal when you don't. I'm not saying like. Yes, it's very different if she decides like I'm gonna go. I'm going
has
nature
mad-
and
I
I'm
bet her
going.
armpits are
I'm growing
mad
my
hairy.
armpits like here and my coochie out, whatever. That's completely different. But if like you miss a couple days on shaving and your dude's already like having issues with it, that's kind of like.
do
you want me or a doll?
Do you have plastic surgery?
What do you mean?
the-
I'm wearing a push-up for sure.
Oh, okay. I thought
dead.
I was.
It's
Okay.
like, what do you mean?
No.
Wait.
I'm
okay.
22. I'm poor as fuck.
Yeah, you don't. Oh, okay. Well, there's some 22-year-olds, sugar daddies and shit. But wait, okay. So the
I've been doing a
hair
lot of
thing,
different things in
but like
surgery.
me personally, if a girl had a bit of forearm hair, I don't give a fuck. You don't have
Yeah.
to shave that, but like it is nice. Like shaved legs are nice, just for the
Less
Yeah.
friction.
for the speed, you know. But
Okay, what I'm saying is
I'm-
like a
and down
man.
there?
Till that's
Okay, so people like men will be like, I will not
even
eat you out
skin
unless you're
color?
hairless down there.
well, I don't. Oh, Jesus.
Can I
That's
see-
a little bit.
Okay, so do you ever put this into play? Like, I have a lot of brothers. What if they had a bad experience? What if they like? I don't know if you know this. Hair carries odor, and like, not to be rude, I've known friends who wax. A lot of women aren't very clean, baby. So with all that hair, you're walking a fro, like 80s fro. I'm sorry, a lot of people aren't gonna go down on that. It just shows that you're clean cut and stuff. I'm not saying every single time and all that, but again, I've never
Yeah.
been through that situation. No,
No.
guy I've been with would ever tell me that shit.
Wait,
Yeah, I don't
question.
mind
I would
like
die.
I don't mind people wax. I don't. No, that's not really what I'm trying to
I
say.
prefer to wax it all.
Yeah, I prefer to wax too, but I'm saying like I'm not gonna discriminate against a woman and be like I'm not gonna eat you out because you have stubble.
I mean,
But you're different from him.
Double's
It's a
fine.
preference.
But men do that, and that's strange.
preference. Why is everything? Why every time a man has a preference, it's weird? I never get that. Like, why can't they just have preferences and that's it, or just that's what they want? If he doesn't want to be able to grow with a fro, that's his thing. It's simple.
simple.
Oh my god.
I'm your hype man now. But
Yeah, it's always that
I mean,
selfish
can't it just
side.
be like a utilitarian thing? Like, it's maybe more uncomfortable for the guy.
Women were born with hair on them. I'm sorry.
Women were also born not wearing makeup, so maybe you should stop wearing
Ooh.
makeup.
So
That's a good point.
And men were also born without Viagra, so maybe when you have a limp dick, you shouldn't use that either.
What kind of guys are you getting with that have to use that?
What the-
That says a lot.
I'm not, but if it's covered by insurance, obviously a lot of men need it. So
Wait, so okay,
I think she hates men.
I don't even. How did we?
don't.
How did we
The
get?
way you
on-
come
most of my
off,
men
though.
are. She's actually probably one of my only girlfriends I hang out with here. All of my friends are men. Most of them are actually conservative Republican men, actually, and we all get along just fine. Because I can disagree with people, but we just move on. We don't sit and debate it for hours.
But Tay brought up a really good point. Like, it seems every time a guy has a preference, a standard, or a boundary, it's always like.
He's weird or
I mean,
pervert.
normally it's just like, it's typically tamer levels of shaming. Like, it's either insecure or misogyny or controlling or dominant or whatever. But like, y'all want to go to the P word thing real quick.
because I feel like that preference is rooted in something else.
But what, have you ever asked though? Instead of assuming, you just look what you're saying. That's a big word to use. Ask
Well,
him.
ask him
Say,
and
I
Hey,
never
it's
said.
rude.
I
It's
never
rude.
said. I
I
never
don't
called
think
somebody a
he's gonna say
pedophile.
yes.
I didn't say pedophile once
You
on
said
the
it's
show.
weird though.
I said it's childlike. I
So
never
what does that
said
mean?
it's-
That it's childlike.
So if a woman has
You're
a,
literally saying it without saying it. So stop trying to backpedal.
if a woman has a preference, is it rooted in anything else, or is it simply just a
Fact.
preference?
if that like what he said, if a woman is preferring that a man is like all clean shaven everywhere, I also would think that's a little bit strange. Why do you want him to look like a little boy?
I mean, I don't think. I think it's just their preference. If a girl has a preference, here,
Okay.
I can articulate a reason why a woman might prefer guys clean shaven. Some women, when kissing, the beard will rub up against them. Maybe they get a little, I don't know, if red. What's it called?
Irritation.
Irritation.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And or maybe they don't like how it looks.
Okay, you can have your preferences, and I can believe that they're strange or not.
True.
But I mean, it's just,
Fair.
it's unfair to assume that both genders are pedophilic.
Yeah, why does that
for-
have to get taken to
like
that
it just seems
that
very
extent?
extreme.
That's very
It's
extreme,
very
I do
extreme.
say. But to be fair, though, you can't assume that childlike does mean pedophilic, but it is different when if she would be straight up using that word that it is. She's just saying it does resemble
Because-
prepubescent when we don't have hair. And
Why is
it's-
that the first thing you guys think of? Like
I never- don't say you guys, guys. This
when
is
I'm
my
listening to
argument.
you guys, and that's the first thing you think of. Is it like, why does that you bring that up? Is it trauma? Like that's not something I think of if somebody asks me, "Hey, Tay, I want you to be shaved." Like if that's something wrong, it's rooted in something. You're thinking.
I
of
think
that
it's
for a
rooted in
reason.
our research.
Think about that.
My
So-
research, if anything, would be
So what's the
rooted
research?
in
I want to know.
sociology and
the re-
education.
wait,
But what's
hold
the
on,
stat
hold-
though? What are you
the
talking
re-
about exactly?
The amount
Wait, the research shows that men who prefer women
No,
who
I'm
are
not saying
clean
no. That's
shaven
not
are
Yeah, it's like
what I
making it
ever
up.
said at fucking. Oh my god, I'm so tired
It's
of
for
taking my shit out of
speed,
context.
Kiko.
No.
It's for speed. I'm telling you.
Literally, I'm saying it's just based off of my research that I do. It does create me to look at certain things like this a little bit more deeply. Like, okay, why is that? Because sociology is a study of society and what we're doing and why things happen and the people in it and everything interworking. So sometimes, based off of my research, I'm not saying exactly that I've studied the shaving thing, but in things like that where there is sometimes something is scraping the level and there is that iceberg underneath, that is some of a topic that we do bring up nowadays in sociology. I'm not saying it's correct or I agree with it, but with what I study, yes, sometimes you'll want to take that layer off and think, is there a deeper reason that we see this? Especially after all of this, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and all this.
Ghislaine?
Yeah, I can never pronounce.
Ghislaine? Is it Ghislaine?
I can never pronounce
I
her
don't know.
name. But after that, I think
it's
a lot of us
Ghislaine.
looked at things a little bit more with a critical eye. Like, is this something deeper? Because it was right in front of our faces, and we didn't even know.
If I'm willing to concede that, not that I would, that men who are attracted to either younger women or who have a preference for women who are shaved down there, if I'm willing to concede that that is problematic because they want children, are you willing to concede that women that are attracted to tall men have an incestuous
We already brought this
fetishization for their fathers because they want to look up and look at a tall man?
Is everybody's dad taller than them?
Mine is.
Almost.
If you were a kid.
Mine are the same
My
height.
dad's 6'5".
But
It's when you were a kid though. When you were a kid, of course your father was
if
taller
anything,
than you.
I would say
I also
that's-
said that I don't care about height, so I feel like it's kind of
You'll date a 4'11" dude? Come on.
I mean,
someone
on,
the same
Dave.
height. She's not looking
Come
up
on,
to
Dave.
somebody her
saying-
same height though.
I would prefer somebody to be like, if I'm dating a man, for a woman, I don't care how tall she is or how short he is.
Yeah.
But if I'm dating a man, I think I would prefer a man that's like my height or taller. Does that mean that I don't find shorter men attractive? No, there's definitely some short kings out there.
Listen, Day, what you've just told me is incredibly problematic. The fact that you would prefer to date a guy who's taller than you means that you are incestuous.
But I'm not
How
against
dare
it.
you?
But I'm not against dating
That is a
somebody
crime.
who's as tall as me or shorter.
This is an affront to humanity. You are an incestuous. I'm kidding, by the way.
That's okay.
But do you see what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I'm
that's-
not. What I'm gonna say next is yes. If that's my preference and that's your opinion on my preference, okay.
So
You're allowed to have an opinion, and I'm allowed to have a preference.
I identify as the correct person on this issue. Will you
Oh.
will you affirm my identity as the correct person on this issue?
What are we getting at here?
Oh.
What is the point of
I can guarantee you it's my identity. Anyways, I'm
next?
okay. All right, let's do the soup chats.